Hello, everyone. Welcome to MindBody TV today. I'm Dr. Kim Duramo. I am always really excited to be here to connect with so many amazing people all over the world. I'm going to be sharing today about connecting with your soul purpose. This is a thing I think people get confused about more than any other topic that I see that's aligned with health and wealth and well-being. Living your soul purpose. Like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to be, or what should I set as my goals, and having it come from the mind where we think we've got to figure something out, when the reality is who you truly are. When you tune in, when you breathe, when you connect through your body, it's already right here. So it's not about goals or future or achieving, or maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. And it's not about the mind's like ideas about how it's supposed to go. It's actually about the essence of who you are, which is so much easier than we tend to make it. So peace, ease, flow, joy, expansion, authentic expression, freedom. These are all great places to start. And then you can tune into the juiciness of what that looks like for you, or what that might mean for you, or what an expression of that might be for you. So for those of you who don't know me, hello everyone who's here live. I love hearing where you're tuning in from. I am in the US, in Durango, Colorado, a beautiful mountainous ski town. And I know we have lots of people from all over the world. So whether you're listening to the recording or the podcast, I love hearing from you, and thanks for being here. I am a physician who was trained in trauma and critical care, and I worked in the emergency room for several years before really shifting my career to becoming, sharing about mind-body medicine. I was always really interested in mind-body medicine. I always had a really deep connection with how the mind and body are connected, how the body heals itself, how there's way more to the equation going on with chronic illnesses that aren't getting better no matter what we do than what most conventional medical thought is really about. Like, there's so much more going on that it's actually happening than what most conventional medicine doctors would have to say. So if you feel like you have either just been lost in the shuffle of like, I have this chronic illness, or maybe 20 different labels of chronic illness, what's actually going on? Or you're just an individual awakening and realizing like, wow, there's much more to life than what I have been told. Or maybe you're dealing with anxiety and depression and you're realizing, what's right about this I'm not getting, what's trying to come up in me. Because that is exactly how we're going to feel when we suppress our soul purpose, when we suppress who we really are. You are not meant to live in suppression. You are not meant to live in a diagnosis, and that's just it. You don't need to be medicated just because there's something that is trying to move through. And it doesn't mean anything about what is in store for you for the future. So just know that if you feel somewhat lost or disconnected or uncertain, or like, this doesn't feel like an awesome life, what else is possible? Welcome to MindBody TV. So each week we will tune in. I'm here live at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And we've had people all over the world, and it's just amazing. I know so many people are awakening and are ready for this. So hello to JP Black. Hello to my sweet daughter, Gemma. Hello, Amima Barb from UK. Love the topic today. All right, lots of people in Facebook. Ellen from Toronto. Rebecca from the Netherlands. Annika, so happy to be here from Sweden. Amima is from Canada. Jen from Salem. Awesome. Lisa, hello. A. Grant from New Brunswick. Allie K from Washington. So freaking excited. Awesome. Regneld, Kelly, Lawrence, Michael. Okay. Mary from Decatur, Georgia. All right. So let's dive in. And I do have a guest who's going to be coming today. So she's should be coming in some point here. We'll stay tuned. But what I would say to everyone when we're at this like new year, I'm setting intentions. What am I going to create this year? And it's awesome to cultivate that energy of like, who am I really? And each year, yes, intend to go deeper into the authentic you, especially because it will sort of bump itself out, right? Like people are like, I don't know. I have no idea. Who am I really? And that's just because you're trained to be in the program that says you should do this. You're supposed to be like this. This is how it works. This is how it doesn't work. Don't do that thing. Do this thing. And so we're trained to learn by looking at the outside in and try to emulate that. And what we're going to share today, which is like actually is going to work for your life, for your health, for your wealth, for your vibrance and abundance, is for you to live from the inside out. So let go of everything outside of you. Breathe and tune into your body, relax your shoulders, and just remember what's here. Now, your brain won't register this at first because your brain has been trained to look outside of you. Oh, I'm a good person. You like me. You love me. I'm good. Okay, I feel good about myself. Oh, I have money in the bank. Okay, I feel good about myself. Oh, I have these degrees. Okay, good. I'm good right now. But it's like pseudo peace. It's never actually a sense of wholeness. We have to create that from the inside out. And when we do, guess what shows up out there? Everything that is a reflection of that. So don't worry that your brain might not register it. Sense into the heart, soften your shoulders, breathe a little bit more fully, and it will come in. It will begin. It will guide you because you are connected with all that is. You are a being of light. You are an infinite being having a physical experience, and you are here to live something beautiful, something that lights you up, something that is unique to you. And this is what I've seen as a doctor that allows your body to heal. So I do have our special guest here, Bernadette, and I'm just going to welcome some people on as I bring her in. So Maud from France, Sharon from Michigan, BH, Katarina from Sweden. Awesome. All right. So hi, Bernadette.
Hi.
Hi. So Bernadette is from The Daily Positive. I had her a few months back and she shared her story because I thought this was such a powerful example of like recreating yourself from the unknown of like, wait, what am I supposed to do? And the space of I just hate what I'm doing. I hate my job. I want to quit. This feels flat. This feels dead. This can't be my path. And not really having the certainty of like, what is it supposed to look like? But then receiving, connecting with guidance. Bernadette has created this amazing life with her husband and partner, and she's created a business around sharing her passion. And she is really kind of expert with connecting with and creating your soul's purpose. So welcome, Bernadette, to MindBody TV.
Yeah, you sweet lovely. It's so nice to be here. I was just sorry I'm a little bit late because I had a little internet resetting issue, but I'm so delighted to be here and hey to everyone that's tuning in.
All right. So we have a few comments, questions, and A. Grant said, yes, I was medicated back in 2008 for depression, and now I have it coming up again. And I'm excited as I know I'm clearing it this time, and that's why it's coming up. Yep. I mean, I don't think I know one awakened person who's living their purpose who hasn't gone through layers of anxiety, depression. Mm-hmm. So, Bernadette, share a little bit about your experience with how you've found your soul purpose, because you really did connect with guidance from like nowhere and establish a whole life around it.
Yeah, thank you. So just to the person who mentioned that they were going through depression, I just want to acknowledge that. And I had anxiety for a very long time. Sorry. And really felt, oh, you there, Kim?
Wait, am I here?
Oh, you're here back. You're back now.
Sorry, guys. I think my internet is getting a little...
That's all right. I think you're with us. Okay. So I was just saying that, yeah, you're here with us. I can hear you. I was just saying for people that are experiencing depression and anxiety, I really feel you. And I had anxiety for a long time and had a huge void inside, and it was a very deep existential issue. It was for me personally, it was an existential issue. And I didn't realize until I found purpose in my life that was very deep and meaningful that started to dissolve. And I was joking to someone the other day, but not really joking, is that if I hadn't found my purpose, I think I would make an excellent, very deep, melancholic person. Because without the purpose that I found, I just had this knowingness that this is not all that's going on here, people. Like, this can't be it. Just walking around every day and operating at the surface level of life with no really deep, meaningful connection. And I know that I'm not a body. I'm not just a body, and I know I'm not just a mind. So when I finally connected with that, it started to really resolve, as we've talked about before, finding purpose, filling a void inside, finding meaning in my work, which helped me heal my body of conditions, started to help me resolve anxiety. And one of the things that I found with, you said, you know, connecting in a big way with guidance, the first thing is, and I talk about this in the free workshop I'm doing at the moment about know your soul and connecting to your soul purpose, is that challenges, repeating themes of challenges that come up over and over and over and over and over again, I used to get really angry about them and frustrated, like my body won't heal or whatever it is in your life that's not going right, until I realized it was trying to tell me something. And I was like, oh, like there's meaning in the challenges. People don't like to hear that, and it's really difficult to stomach it. It's very difficult to stomach it. I mean, I've lost loved ones. People that have just lost a loved one don't want to hear there's meaning in your challenges. People that are suffering long-term health conditions often don't want to hear that, or mental health conditions. But the thing is that if we look at our challenges and say, this life challenge I'm facing that keeps recurring over and over and over again, what if, just what if it was speaking to me, and what if it was asking me to look at things differently, ask new questions, move in new ways, move away from what doesn't serve me, move further into maybe things that I'm not giving myself permission to do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I know a lot of people that are like, you're probably the same. People come in and they're like, oh, you know, I really like to do that, but, you know, like, let's get real. And now let's talk about my actual life. And I'm like, no, hold up a minute. Hold up a minute and back up the train. Like, that is what you want to be talking about. Because one, what you're passionate about, what you get inspirations about, and what you are intuitively nudged towards, what I call PII, passion, inspiration, intuition, is not random, is not by mistake, and it is your soul speaking to you.
Yes, yes.
And the power is when they converge like this. If you go like this and all your passion, your intuition, and your inspirations point in one way, what is that? It's an arrow, people. If you follow where they converge, which is what I did. So I looked at my career and I was like, it's great. It's a great path for a lot of people. It's not for me. But I noticed my passions, inspiration, and inner knowing, and actually getting signs from life around me started coming up, calling me in one direction. Healing, coaching, leadership. And I was like, I don't know what this is about. And I started exploring it. And lo and behold, it ended up being the deepest purpose, the most healing purpose for me. It's become my life. I left my old life behind and recreated it. But it really requires, I don't think it's just courage. I'm really analytical, and I want to know, I want things in a framework. I want somebody to go, yep, if your passion, inspiration, and intuition are all going in that direction and you don't like where you are, yep, that's a logical reason to take action.
Yes. Well, and I was going to say to when you said a minute ago, that's your soul talking to you. It's really important. You were saying like passion, inspiration, and knowing, that's your soul talking to you, because what most people, they get in the mind, they're like, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, wait, but is it, you know, maybe I just think this. There's a massive difference between the quality of communication from the soul, the inner self, and the mind. So the mind will talk in fear. Oh, wait, you shouldn't do that. Oh yeah, if you do that, then maybe this will happen, and that wouldn't be a good thing. Or it feels like hope. Oh, if you do that, then maybe da-da-da-da, and then da-da-da, and then someday. So it's not the same quality. So I think this is a really good, one of those keys that you're talking about for people to have that clarity of like, whoa, is this the soul desire, or is this just my mind talking? And how do we distinguish? So that's like one major way. It's like, it is not going to be a fear-based communication. It is not going to be a future if this then that means to an end. It's an end in and of itself that feels light, that feels joyful, that yes, sometimes it feels too good to be true if you're in that lower mind of conclusion, but it is your truth and it is your certainty. So do you have ways people can have that certainty a little, like of how you would share about that?
Yeah, so you're 100% right. Like, there's a difference between the quality of communication of a fearful mind-based message and the depth of your spirit speaking to you. And by the way, this is not fluffy philosophy, theoretical conversation. Like when I'm saying your soul is speaking to you, I'm like, you are a spirit It is poured in your body. It is literally talking to you. This is the actual reality we live in. And too many people in society don't give it kudos for what it really is. And I refuse to let myself or anyone else walk in this world and think that that is not foundational, factual, real, and the most grounded thing that you can base your life upon. But when we talk about like the fear-based conversation, your soul is never going to say anything to you that makes you go like in horror, right? But here's the catch. When your soul speaks to you and it's kind of urging you and nudging you and kind of showing you a direction to go in or a particular thing that might benefit you, that doesn't mean you won't feel a little afraid of the uncertainty ahead. But the difference is this. Oh my gosh, imagine if that would be possible. How awesome would that be? Oh, I notice I'm a little bit nervous about doing that.
Yes.
That's different from, like foreboding. And I love your work because you're really good at teaching people to tune into their heart center, into their body, and listen to the feelings and understand the feelings and become very body aware. And I think that's necessary to start to distinguish between what is fear and true foreboding and what is healthy nervousness about going outside your comfort zone and following your soul's calling, so to speak.
Yeah. And then the discomfort that comes with choosing it, where you choose it and then everything falls away that's not aligned with it. And you're like, ah! But if you keep reconnecting, you're like, am I in certainty? Am I going to choose from love or choose fear? And if you keep recalibrating, I'm going to choose what I know. It will allow the further unfolding of like what comes in. Everything's going to fall away, but there's a lot that's going to come in.
Yes. And to that note, it was so funny. I was like speaking to my spirit and my sort of the higher team before I came on. It's like, oh, what are we going to be talking about? Or what should I be focusing on? And it's just so interesting because everything you're saying is bringing up what I sense is the most important things to be talking about right now. And it's very organic, which is beautiful. But something you just said was so on point, because one thing I learned the hard way, and I'll just share up front so that people that decide to live their life in a soul-aligned way don't freak out, is that following your soul's calling is not always convenient or comfortable.
Yes.
And there's a reason. It's on purpose, because you won't learn or grow or evolve or develop wisdom or tap wisdom or get to a place where you're having an embodied lived experience of wisdom unless you do some stuff and you go through some stuff. That doesn't mean your life is going to be challenging or hard when you follow your soul's calling. But don't think that I find my soul's calling and if I step into it, it's very comfortable and easy. It's not comfortable and easy having depression or anxiety. It's not comfortable or easy stepping out following your soul's calling. It's not comfortable or easy doing a job you hate. It's not comfortable or easy doing your life's biggest mission and most joyous thing. There's always challenges, but they serve a really important evolutionary purpose.
Well, and it's what makes you come more fully alive. Yeah. So one might be like, well, I'm pretty comfortable. Maybe just stay where I am, but you're slowly dying.
Yeah, yes.
And the other is like, whoa, there's like a speeding up. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. I'm going to throw up, or I'm super happy. I can't decide. But you'll feel the speeding up, and you are going to feel more fully alive, and your cells are going to feel more fully alive. And, Susan is saying, like, I want to know what my health challenges are telling me. I don't know how the answers come in, slowing down, listening, what else? And it's a major, major point that for any of us, whether it's, why can't I get blah, 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 relationship into place? Or why is my body not healthy? Or whatever the thing is, it could be coming out a different way, but it's telling us the same thing. It's like, you're not fully alive, where you're out of alignment. And that's the first thing to look at is like, okay, if this were here for my benefit, this pain, this illness, this lack, this annoying person, if this were here for my benefit, what would that benefit be? So I don't go first to like, what would it be telling me? Maybe it's because blah, blah, blah. I would go to like, if there were an awesome reason that I was someday going to be psyched this happened, what would that be? And I'll immediately go to like the biggest thing of like all the love in the world and all the beauty in the world and all the passion and joy, like all of it, because that's what the thing is inviting you into. And so if you can just step into it, you'll start to see what the message could be. How would you look at something like this?
Yes, I think that's beautiful, and I think you're exactly right, and that's why I love your work. Is that you're really going to the end picture rather than dilly-dallying around with trying to overanalyze the smaller things that might connect up to it. So if you go to the end picture, it's going to help you. It'll help you, first of all, probably just have an immediate breakthrough. If not, it'll bring up some really clear insights to apply that. But anytime aside from that, okay, so if something's just not working and you're struggling with something, it's like, if there was something awesome, like you just said, what might it be that I'm being asked to be called into? Just very simply put, something is out of alignment. What might be out of alignment for me? And if you ask that, for example, it does not mean, oh, I'm sick in my body in this area. I'm out of alignment. Oh, I must be out of alignment in my nutrition. Oh no, it could be your relationship.
Maybe it's mold. Maybe I don't have magnesium. Maybe I ate too much gluten. Maybe, and we look for maybe it's this. That's not going to be the message behind the big thing that's happening. It's not going to be that.
No, it could be something like, what it's trying to tell me is that I feel like my life is void of joy, and I feel like I'm slowly dying every day, like you say. It's like, it's telling me to wake up, because this relationship that's making me miserable for 20 years, and I darn well know it, I'm not doing anything about it, and I need to move forward. I need to deal with that. So it can be all sorts of things. But I really like that end result. What could this be calling me into? And I think I just want to share something that kind of connects in with this, that I was just on the comments on this workshop that we're doing at the moment about your soul, and someone raised something, and it's a really good point to share today, because I was thinking, how can I condense 4 hours worth of workshop into a tiny thing to share with you? But one thing that I discovered on my journey, and I studied spirituality, faith, and this whole thing about soul journeying for about almost 10 years before I got to the point of developing this workshop that I'm doing. So it's like 10 years of culmination of experiential learning. And one of the things that I discovered, and it was true for me, and it's been true for people I work with and people I know, is that of the 4 things that, in my framework, of the 4 things we're here for in life: learning, healing, growth, and contribution. Contribution is where most people are looking for clarity. So they're looking for purpose. What is my soul purpose? What is my life purpose? I believe that our purpose is fourfold: to learn, to heal, to grow, and to contribute. But here's what's really, really interesting. If you look at your learning, healing, and growth areas, which are usually challenges that you're facing in your life, and you look at your contribution, the 2 are actually divinely, perfectly linked together. And what I mean by that is, where you learn, heal, and grow, where life challenges you the most, is going to give you your most deepest, beautiful wisdom, which becomes part of your contribution. It becomes part of your purpose. I mean, how many people do you know, Kim, in your work and in your field, and for me and mine, that the work they do has come directly out of their own life challenge?
100% of the people who are doing aligned work, all of it came from an awakening. And I wrote this down, but I want you to say it again. It's like you're learning, you're healing, you're growing, but it's always like your challenge, your pain, your fumbling. And you said it's always going to be aligned with your awakening to that deeper purpose.
Contribution. Yes. But here's the other beautiful thing. It can go the other way around, because someone just said to me on my workshop comments today, I thought I had to learn, heal, and grow and go through my challenges before I could do my soul purpose and make a contribution. No, no, no. Because if you notice, I'm passionate about this thing and my intuition nudges me and I feel inspired and I'm going to start doing something purposeful, guess what happens? It will bring up all your issues. It will bring up all your fears. It will bring up all your limiting beliefs. It will bring up all the learning, healing, and growth. And for me, that's what happened. I naively went, I'm going to follow my passion, inspiration, intuition. I'm going to live my soul's calling. And I was like, I don't have issues. Oh no. Oh, you do. I started doing it and all my stuff came up. And the path of following my soul ended up bringing up stuff I needed to clean up and it ended up just feeding my work. Contribution, learning, healing, growth, all meshed together. And that is soul purpose. It's right there. And I think the beauty of it is that if you're facing a challenge, no longer does it look like life beat down on you, something is wrong, nothing is wrong.
Yes. Nothing. It's like the doorway to your greatest purpose or getting clarity is behind the door of your greatest pain and greatest challenge. And like,
yes,
great.
and I think is it a Buddhist, I don't know if it's a Buddhist saying or if it's from the Tao or what it is, but I remember seeing somewhere that the challenge is the path, the obstacle is the way.
Yeah.
And it's so true. Like, good luck going over, around, under things, because life has a funny way of boomeranging that stuff back to us.
Well, I know a lot of people, because we started the new year, and a lot of people are wanting to go deeper into this work, which is why I wanted you to come in today. So you're doing a free workshop that's going to go into this to give people a little more like workshop with this to investigate for themselves, get some clarity. What is my soul's purpose? And kind of like, where do I go with that to just start to step? It doesn't have to be a flying leap of faith like you did with sell the house, sell everything I own, quit my job, travel around the world, and create your life anew. For a lot of people, it won't look like that. But to get some real, just workshop it, get some clarity and spend some time with this and go deeper. So I'm going to share the link. It's a free workshop that Bernadette's doing. So I was super excited to offer that to people so they could kind of have a way to go deeper with this.
Yeah. And it's quite concrete what we're doing in that. It's going to give you, it's not just a few surface level things. It's going to give you concrete exercise. It's got PDF downloads that you will actually pull out aspects of your soul plan. If you just do the video and do the PDF, if people are doing it and they're like, oh my gosh, I've like understood and seen this. And what you will do is you'll probably listen to it and you'll be like, I just know that already. I feel it in my bones.
This is the thing I want people to understand is you already know who you are. It's just covered with layers and layers and layers of doubt, fear, shame. Oh, it couldn't be that. That's just blah, blah, blah. Overlooking like the programs you've bought into. But it's here and it will sound very familiar to you once you like take away all the layers and let yourself get some clarity. I have Kristen said, my passion is teaching teens and my soul lights up. I took a position, it felt guided. And when it came down to it, I had to give it up because of Lyme and babesia, so illness that she had. I couldn't even breathe, my body crashed. I have trouble trusting myself since my protection mind took over. So much analyzing, but I want to be able to do it. So sometimes people, we're trying to step into it, but we haven't grounded what we're really ready here to be so that it can fluidly. And then physical illness will develop, the immune system is not aligned and we can't clear these infections. Where would you speak to for that, Bernadette?
Yeah, perfect. So I would say there's no question mark. You understand your soul calling you. There's no question mark. Being with teens, teaching, leading, sharing wisdom, nurturing young ones, that is absolutely 100% your path. And that doesn't mean that along your path, you won't have a pause or a diversion or other things. And what I believe is you have to trust deeply in the unfolding, because hindsight is a wonderful thing. And I bet you, if we have a conversation in 12 months or 24 months from now, you will look back and you'll say, I know exactly why I went through this experience. You'll know exactly how that benefited you or how that supported you. But don't for a second question your soul purpose, because it's clear listening to what you're writing there, the energy is in your words. That is part of your life, is to do that. And also we have to get creative, because when our bodies shut down and we can't do something, that doesn't mean our mind is not functional. That doesn't mean our heart isn't fully able to give. That doesn't mean we can't somehow support our mission. It might not be in the bigger way that we think we should be doing it, but from where we stand, what is a way that we could still engage with that and still feel like it's a part of our being and a part of our daily life?
You know what else too is very, very often I see people go to I'm going to follow my passion and I'm actually escaping something. And it's not from a completion of the foundation of like, I'm going to move through whatever this brings. So then when it's conditional, like, oh, wait, I got this illness. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I shouldn't follow my passion. And then we write a new program or whatever we do. Don't do that. Sometimes it just takes going back to that, the core with like, okay, wipe the slate clean. Here I am. I'm willing to trust what I know. I'm willing to follow what I know, what needs to happen to restore that alignment. And so always when we're escaping fear or escaping, oh God, please don't put me in a cubicle, anything but that. Oh, thank God I have this other thing. I'm going to do that. And now it's like duality. So I'm like avoiding this other thing. Oh, thank God I got that. And you can feel the grip we have on this other thing. Like, this is my lifeline. No, your thing out there is not your lifeline.
Yeah.
It's in you. And when you let yourself engage with it, like there are ways you can engage with it even now, that if you're in bed or whatever, that I'm here to be who I'm here to be. It lights me up, and I'm going to integrate that. There's nothing to escape. There's nothing to run from. There's nothing to avoid. I'll welcome it in wholeness. That will align your nervous system. That will realign your immune system. That will allow your body to no longer be compatible with hosting these, bacteria and parasites and what is Lima, spirochete. So it will shift what's happening, and you can move forward. And now it's like, I step forward, the seas part, I move forward, as opposed to what really often happens with creating something new or stepping into something new when we're in that duality.
Totally. And like, I can see this, I could imagine this woman, I just have a vision, she's lying in bed and she's got a little dictaphone, she's making audios, she's lying there resting, she's making audios for teens, or she's writing a blog or whatever. It's like, you can do things in amazing ways that still engage you with your passion. And to the point of, you want to not be running away from something. Here is the difference. For me, when I was in my corporate career, I was 31 or 32. It's over 10 years ago. I can't remember. Anyway, I was in my job and I was like, this can't be it. And I was like, I feel empty inside. I was like, what am I going to do? And it's like, I just need to get away from this. I'm going to have a baby. I'm going to have a baby. And you know what? I was like this. I'm going to have a baby and I can get away from this. I don't have to do this anymore. And I'm going to be able to, and it was like this. I'm going to escape.
Yep.
And of course, my soul woke me up real fast, real quick. And so I didn't go down that path. And when I found my soul calling and I trusted it, it didn't feel like I'm going to escape. Yes, I can escape. It wasn't like that. It was like, oh, okay, that's been awesome. See you later. I got to go do this now.
Move forward. I felt like that when I was in ER. It was a really big struggle. I was like, please get me out of here. And then it was like, Kim, be anxious for nothing. Life will come to you. It will fall in your lap. You will not miss it. Be anxious for nothing. Because I was like, what am I going to do? I'll go knock on doors. I'll rent a space. I'll start an osteopathic practice. And it was like, that just was not in the right frequency of my ease. So I always had that inner knowing, like, stay right here. It is all in place. So as I resided in that, and I didn't do it perfectly, I'd be like, why am I still here? But as I resided deeper and deeper into what I know, it showed up. And then it was like, okay, life got recreated for me and things started working out, and it allowed the path to open up. So always, always, always your path will be a reflection of the stillness you create. Not silence and inactivity, right? Stillness is peace. Be with what is. So I can be with what is while I'm making choices. I can be with what is while I'm creating a program. I can be with what is in every given moment. And that will let something more powerful be created. So find the abundance that you're wanting to show up, and it will allow the path to be clearer. So that's a really important principle. When is the workshop coming? Because I want people to have, I will share the link here. Know Your Soul. I will share the link here, and we'll be emailing this out as well. But why don't you talk a little bit about what your thought is?
So we're right in the middle of it. We're actually halfway through it. So jump in now. So there's 4 videos. The first 2 videos are already out. So as soon as you get registered free, you can watch the first 2 videos. The second video and the exercise is going to give you the really powerful practical application to your own life. You're going to see in your own life aspects of your soul plan and purpose. Super, super powerful. And that is built off like 10 years of me going to, like, studying all the different types of spirituality, faith, personal growth, every aspect of soul planning, soul history, Akashic records, spirit channeling, numerology, astrology, like everything you could imagine. I did it. And then I put it all together and I was like, hang on a minute here. There are themes going on, and they're for me and they're for everyone I know, and they apply to all my clients. I'm like, this is for all humans. This is what we're going through. So in a framework they can use, and then the 3rd and 4th video are out next week. So, so you can dive in now and get those. And we talk about 4 elements of everybody's soul plan and purpose, 2 ways that your unique soul plan will reveal itself to you in the literal events of your life. It's super awesome. Mind blowing to me. I still am like, every time I talk about it and do it, I'm just, life is just so magical, right? I just think it's so freaking fascinating.
It can be. It's meant to be.
But even in the challenge,
we can experience it as if it's not, right? Like we can experience it as if like, no, there's really nothing to it. And that's going to be your reality, and you're 100% right. And you can remember, because the more we do that, the more we realize like, no, that doesn't really work for me. And we start to tap more into aliveness, whether we've been disappointed or heartbroken. And then we have these conclusions of like, this person's a fraud, I'm not going there. And we do the like, let me be skeptic to, you know, protect myself. But we'll like keep going down any path of suppression, and you will awaken, because you're going to have more pain. You're going to have more lack. You're going to have more depression. You're going to have more whatever. You will awaken to make a new choice and go, okay, well, maybe there is something else to this. Maybe there is something else possible.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, and everyone who I've seen with a chronic illness that's not getting better, no matter what they do, there has to be a point where you ask, what is right about this that I'm not getting?
Yeah, I love that question. And bless you in your work for posing these questions in a space where there's very little that actually opens people's beingness.
It's hard. It is so hard to ask that question when you're in it, because you're like, oh no, this is bad. I'm gonna fight that idea. There is no way there's anything right about this. And you have to stay there until you're ready to open to maybe there's something beyond that perspective. And that's when you're ready, and that's when you'll receive, and that's when it, you know, life's right there. It will show you.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it takes us getting to the point where it's like we've done every other thing and we've wronged it, and we've wronged ourselves, and we've gone down all the paths, and we've followed what everyone else said to do, and nothing. And we are left with no other option. So we begrudgingly ask the question.
Yeah. And I think the one thing for me that has had me go through that more quickly and fluidly is to remember why, that I really do want to have this abundant life, that I am committed to, that it's there for me, and that I'm going to choose it. And when I went through like heartbreak after heartbreak, devastating heartbreak, and found like, oh, I guess maybe I'm not going to have the love of my life, I was like, no, I'm committed to having that. What will it take for me to open? Because the constant in all of these equations is me. And there's something in me that's creating this. And what if I could shift that? I had no idea how to shift that at all. But I was like, what if I could? What would be possible? Am I ready to look beyond what I've already looked? Am I ready to open beyond what I've already opened? And because I did have a commitment to great love, to big love, I went through that. And that was the last devastating heartache. And the next relationship is my guy, my man, my husband, the father of my children. And we have such a powerful connection. But I had to show up for that. He wasn't going to come. I wouldn't have even gone on a second date with him if I hadn't already shifted what I shifted from that heinous, miserable experience that I can't even believe I had to go through. But I said yes to it. And because I said it allowed me to step into something else.
And, you know, one of the reasons I do the work I do is because it like breaks me to hear somebody say, no, that life doesn't work for me. It works for other people. It doesn't work for me. And here's all the reasons why, and I'm done. You know, if people reach out who are suicidal and they're like, I'm done, I'm out. Like, it doesn't work for me. Life doesn't work for me. All of this is wrong. There's no way out. There's no hope. Yeah. And all we need is to keep a sliver of hope to open that door, that what has been before does not dictate our future. Mm-hmm. But what if what has been before is somehow paving the way for some level of understanding or opportunity, or preparing us for what comes next? Now, this is a really good exercise people can do right now. Think about challenges that you've had in the past, not that you're having now, things you've had in the past. How did that prepare you for what might have come later in your life? How did that shift your perspective or change you? What did it teach you that you later ended up finding useful? For example, shitty relationship with someone who's awful, and you get your heart broken and you realize you had no boundaries. And then what did you do in the next relationship? You learned how to have boundaries, and it ended up allowing you to have a healing, fulfilling relationship, or whatever it might be. But what do those things prepare us for? And I always think to me now, when a challenge arrives in my life, okay, here we go, right? So life is coming to slap me up with this challenge. Okay, okay, if there was something that life was preparing me for, that somehow this is going to deepen my life experience and maybe help me, or maybe not help me, but maybe me help someone else. Okay, well, use me, because I'm only here for a period of time and I want to be useful and I want to have purpose. So I don't know what it is, but I just have a bottom line now. I refuse to live my life without seeing the meaning, value, and purpose in things, because it is definitely there if you're willing to look.
Well, that's the question Susan is asking, like, how do we cultivate the sliver of hope? I think that's exactly it. You choose to.
Choose. I'm just like flat out your mind. So there's you, your higher awareness, your ability to watch yourself. You can watch your own thoughts. And then there's your mind. And it's like, but that's not going to happen. And but I can't meet anybody, but I'm never going to heal this, but I don't understand. I don't know if this is happening to me. And there's your aware self. And your aware self can come in and say, I hear you, mind. I hear you, fear. Yeah. I hear you that you have been through all this terrible stuff in the past. I hear you that you have no evidence or anything else, and we are still choosing. And one thing you can use, and it's really practical, it's got nothing to do with spirituality or faith, and it's just this. Do you want to live your life in hope or complete despair with no hope? One feels a little bit better and one feels terrible. So now you choose, and I just don't choose to live my life pessimism or lack of hope anymore. But to cultivate
what you're making is where I go with it. I go to find the clarity, and the clarity is, okay, great, Kim, you got that. Here's conclusion A: life is shit, and it will always be, and there really is no ultimate meaning. You might as well give up now. So I'm like, maybe that's where I am residing, and I'm like, let me just embrace it. Breathe in, I breathe out. But I have some awareness of like, how does it feel when I believe this thought? And how it feels when I believe that thought is pretty contracted. And then I'll extrapolate it. I'll be like, okay, you're going to live the rest of your 10 years from now with this alignment. Where are you going to be in 10 years? And it's like, oh, right. Miserable. Right. We'll just get off the planet now. I wouldn't even make it to 10 years. So it's like, okay, here's your choice. You can buy this, or you can see beyond it. And the way I'll see beyond it is like, I have to embrace that that's where I am. Okay, I believe this right now. I think it's true. I'm just totally in it. I don't even want to get out of it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you have it. Absolutely. Have it as long as you like. I love you. I love you. And I'll let myself just be there, but I will not be hard on myself for it. I won't make myself run. I won't make myself to be positive. Like, it's great. Have it. And then that ease I give myself is what allows something bigger to come in, because the thing we're saying, the sliver of hope, it's actually the truth of reality. The truth is I am light. The truth is I am meant to be expansive. The truth is it is here for me. So if I don't know that, I can like be in the negative experience I'm in, and it will still show up as evidence. It will still show up as truth, because truth is true. So sometimes you just be where you are, and but with awareness, and you'll see.
Yes. And I think that's so powerful and so true. And that's another, I know that's a core foundation of your work, because if you resist the truth of how you feel, not the truth of reality, but the truth of how you feel and where you're standing right now, then you're like, it's like some person coming along trying to paint a silver lining on your cloud, and you're like, get away, it's raining over here. And it's like, you do have to be able to say, I have compassion for myself. Of course I feel this way.
Yes.
Right. And you can say that to yourself.
You can let it dissolve. What you resist persists. And so to let solution happen. Yeah. So do people there are some questions coming up. But thank you guys. People are really appreciating you and I when we get together. It's always pretty awesome. So
it's so fun. It's so fun.
You said I accidentally went off my life purpose for 4 years. Yeah, it's never an accident, because I'll cultivate more clarity in those 4 years. Now I don't have to spend 40 years. Now my niece went to work with her dad. So he works and he's a lawyer, and she's like, I'll just do school there. And she sat in the cubicle, and she got home at the end of the day. She's like, there's no way I will ever take a desk job. Now she's like, I think she's 19. She's getting wicked clarity. Like, didn't feel good. She's like, it took me hours to shake it off. My body felt miserable. I was agitated. I was witchy to everybody. You think she got clarity? So it doesn't matter if it takes you 4 years. It preventing you from doing 40 years. It's actually anchoring you into your certainty of like, oh yeah, now I know that I know. So in that way, it was an investment. It was a super valuable 4 years where you got, because your physical system is registering all that information, and everything is registered truth versus lie. Everything is registered wanted, unwanted. And it goes into like the grand vortex of what you are creating, so that when you show up in consciousness, the consciousness of, I love myself fully, I'm generous with myself, I'm going to let myself have it, have the ease and the forgiveness, the abundance, that will show up for you automatically. It's already been dialed in through that 4-year off track.
Yeah, and people call it, like off track, or I didn't do this and it's an accident, or I resisted for too long, I've wasted time. Like I remember having signs about what I was meant to be doing with my life, and I kind of ignored them probably for about 2 years. And I don't think the 2 years ignoring them was a mistake. I can see now that it was like a preparation period.
Yeah. Well, I had a marriage and a divorce, and there was so much clarity that came from that. And not like I didn't spend some time like, why did I do it that way? But now I'm like, I have to receive that. I'm so grateful I received what that taught me, and what that taught me about myself, and how it taught me to love myself more. There's so much that got integrated that changed my life forever. So never make it, the mind will make it a mistake, but
really? Indeed. And while we don't talk deeply about this in the workshop, we do it in my program that I'm coming up soon, Soul Odyssey, but this is a theme of my work and has been for a long time, is divine guidance.
Yeah.
And so if this is too far for some people, that's cool. But I think it's really important to speak to, and that is that when you are feeling something inside as an intuitive nudge, you're feeling the calling inside, you're noticing what the bigger picture you might be being called into through a challenge is. So you do what you were talking about. If there was something that this was calling to me that was beautiful through this challenge, what might it be? You're noticing these nudges inside, but you're still questioning yourself. Pay really close attention to what's going on in your life events and what is crossing your path on a daily basis. Pay very close attention to who's showing up in your path, to what kind of conversations you're stumbling upon accidentally, to the seeming coincidences of your life. Because when you asked very early on in this conversation how I ended up connecting so deeply with my soul purpose and kind of really rapidly turning my life upside down, a large part of it was actually to do with the fact that I just got so many signs of repeated things happening that were all saying the same thing, calling me into healing work, calling me into leadership, and it was undeniable. And so the guidance is always there, but we sometimes don't pay attention to it if we're too stuck in our mind talking about our problem, or trying to figure out how to solve our problem for ourselves, when we know we really can't solve it for ourselves completely. And so when you start to get more present in your life and you start to open up a little bit and say, okay, I can't resolve this alone, I need to kind of tap into my spirit, I need to tap into life itself, it's amazing what kind of guidance starts showing up for you.
Yes, and you have to remember it's there even when you don't feel it, because you're not going to feel it in the front end of that. Someone is asking, this is such a great question. How do I know I'm allowing my emotional pain versus I'm in a masochistic behavior? And this is huge, because they're really night and day. And one is, I allow it, I witness it, I love you, I love you, I love you. So I'll feel it more. And when I feel it more, that energy moves through, versus I buy into it and beat the shit out of myself with it, which is like a totally different thing. So one is I allow it, non-resistance, it moves through. And the other is I totally buy into it and I believe it and beat myself up with it. Do you find this question a lot, or that distinction comes up?
Well, I don't, it's interesting. I find more often than not, this person, like bless this person, because Saray, you have a really great level of self-awareness. I find people are often like caught in this confusion, but they don't know what's happening. So the way you were describing it, Kim, is perfect. It's like having a devil on your shoulder that's whipping you, and the other one is an angel on your shoulder that's giving you a hug. And they're both saying, here's the pain, but one is saying, here's the pain, bless you, sweet child, like feel it, everything is okay, you need to process and release this, everything's gonna be okay. And one is going, you deserve it, you're wrong, you made this happen, you need to feel it fully. They're completely different experiences. And I also think that it's important to say emotional pain doesn't have to take a long time to shift, because I think sometimes there's a sense of, I've got to do a lot of healing work on myself. Now, that's not to say that if you're in emotional pain and you're going through a process of healing, that for some people there may be layers and it may take time. Maybe that's what's going to be right for you and that's just how it unfolds. But also I've seen emotional pain release like that with EFT, tapping, with the emotion code.
If you give it space, it can resolve quickly. But if you expect it to resolve quickly, it's like it's going to stick around. If you act like you have all day, it will take 5 minutes. If you act like you have 5 minutes, it will take all day. It will take a year.
And that's what, and the very nuance of your work, which I love, is that I'm going to breathe into wherever I feel that emotion in my body, and I'm not doing it to get rid of it.
So crazy.
You will probably get rid of it doing it, but you're not doing it.
Exactly what will do that. I know that's the biggest thing, that if we can allow that one thing, that awareness, everything changes.
Yeah, it's like meditation. I'm going to meditate
with the emotional pain and the confusion and like, wait, no, this is a bad thing. I must be going in the wrong direction. This is a key component to beginning to live in alignment, because when you align with who you really are, your soul's purpose, you're actually going to start to feel things more, not less. Stuff's going to come through. It's moving through, but it's going to come up. And this is all the stuff you suppress. Like, no, I really am good enough. Let me get another degree. And now you're like, wait a minute, what is this all about? And you soften your body. You're going to feel that inadequacy that you suppressed. You're going to feel the, oh, I'm just not enough, or I'm going to shame, or whatever you've got on yourself. You're going to feel it more, not less. And don't make that wrong.
Yeah. And it's a natural and necessary part of moving closer and closer into alignment with who you are. It's sort of like when you do that exercise, you talk about breathing into where the emotion is in the body and allowing it. It's kind of like a portal where your soul or your spirit is holding you. It's like just holding you to be there in it. And it's like nothing's wrong with you. You know, and your challenge and your sickness and your hating upon yourself and you're feeling not good enough and your whatever is going on, there's nothing wrong with you. You are as you were born. You're still as you were created. You're beautiful. You've just got layers of baggage that don't belong to you. And if you sit with them, you see them, you say, what if this isn't me? What if I am here, right, just a little bit below it? Notice how those layers that felt like concrete, spiky, icky, start to just loosen a little bit. And then a little bit of breathing, a little bit of tapping. It's amazing how it just starts to kind of, okay, it's starting to release now.
Yes. And we go over that hump of it. Like Christine is saying, I'm 57. So much time has gone by. It's been 30 years. I was not awake. And now for myself, for my kid, I'm just so upset. This is what happens. Like you become awake, you see, and then you beat the crap out of yourself for it. Like, no, don't do the second part of the equation.
Yeah. Like what if she's meant, is it Denise? What if you're meant to have stirred at 57? Or Christine, what if you were meant to have stirred at 57? Like, let's just pose the question. I don't know. You don't know. What if your soul was like, okay, going to come into life, 57, it's going to be divinely, perfectly ordered and timed for the whole play of your life and the play of your child's life and your journey and everyone you're connected to, and it will just help consciousness lift and it'll be a key part, 57. Okay, done. And now you're stirring and now you're like, it's wrong. It's not wrong. It's just like, so like, it's just so perfect where you're at right now. Wherever you're at.
All the ways we're not willing to be that generous with ourselves. Because if you hear what you're saying, you're like, I'm not going to give myself that. Well, what if you were willing to be unbelievably generous with yourself and give yourself that? Give yourself the truth that you're exactly where and when you need to be awakening. And like, it's all good how that went, even though that was not awesome. It's good. Don't worry. We're here now. Here we go. And I had a private session with a client just before, and this is what came up. And she's shifted her consciousness so much in the time we've worked together. And this is where she was. She was willing to say, what's possible now? I know I want to have more joy in my life. Oh, how would I bring that in? And I was like, wow, look at all the 10 layers of what you would have done with this when you first came to this work that you're not doing. You're not doing, because she's about 60 something, I don't know. And she's not doing that. She's not doing all those years I starved myself from joy. And that's why I'm so sick. And oh my God, and what if I had done it differently? It would be so much better. Oh wait, no, that wasn't what's happening. Because of the consciousness that she's in, she's able to process this differently. So just realize, Christine, like the consciousness you're in has you do this thing that has, you know, like, oh my God, so obviously I just screwed it all up, and just go, oh, that's just the consciousness I'm in. It's not actually the truth. And then same thing, breathe in and breathe out. So that can dissipate, because when you come into like what you're going to do in the workshop, Bernadette, and how powerful and anchoring it is to connect with the truth and the soul and who am I, it can stir some stuff up, and you can just let that be awesome. You don't have to.
It is very focused on looking at the challenges, and actually you won't feel difficult about your challenges when you go through this work. It's very much about, it's super empowering, and it's not designed to rah-rah you. I'm the least rah-rah-y person there is. I'm not about hyping people up. Zero interest in that. I'm like about like deep, meaningful, grounded conversations that make a practical difference in your life. And in the context of this framework that I have, which I call our soul odyssey, our soul's journey through life, and it has all very specific stages that we all go through as human beings. For Christine, where she's at 57, waking up, in the context of that framework, you could say to yourself, oh, okay, so I feel challenged by waking up at 57. I feel challenged by the loss of the years that I wasn't awake. Well, in the context of learning, healing, growth, and contribution, what is there to learn from your first 57 years? What is there, if anything, that you want to focus on, like accepting as wisdom and letting go? What is there that you can grow from in this moment? Like, what is the feeling of loss that you have around the time lost? And how can you look at that in a way that benefits you? I'll tell you right now, you've got a child. So you are a guardian caretaker of a spirit who has come into this world and is walking their own life journey. So as a parent, your ability to take from that something valuable and to embody that now is going to be a massive contribution to your child. And so this is how the challenges that we have, we can choose to make ourselves wrong, or we can choose to say, even though I feel terrible about this, I wonder if there is something for me to learn in this, if there is something for me to grow through from this experience. For example, it could be, oh, hey, I wasn't very present for this period of my life. And what I've learned is it's a remarkable, life-changing experience to be really present to my life now. And that's what I'm going to teach my child. There you go. Learning, healing, growth, contribution, all in one statement for your life, done. And that is happening all the time through your whole life. And all of these things end up making a daisy chain of purpose, of like really deep
power, a lot of power. There's way more power in it too. Like there's infinitely more power in I'm awakening at 57 and witnessing the massive heaviness of like done the unconscious thing versus, oh, let me teach you a really cool story and an idea about how you should do life. And like, it wasn't actually your experience. So one is going to anchor in really profound part for your kids. And one is like just a nice little story.
Yeah. Totally different, right? Like, I don't know about you, but I'm like zero interest in like theoretical conversation. I'm really interested in people's lived experiences where you really resonates with you, and you like really can feel the wisdom that can benefit your life. And that's why I'm obsessed with how our learning, healing, and growth in our own life through recurring challenges and events in our life end up sending us on our contribution, purpose-filled missions in life, be it as a parent, what you say to your children, be it as a teacher or a doctor or a healer or an accountant or a lawyer or a customer service person or whatever it is. And, you know, to that end, when I think about what really sent me on this journey, before I started getting signs, there were two big things that sent me down the healing path. And one was the death of a sibling, and a very close loved one became sick with an incurable disease. And their life journeys and their challenges and the pain that I felt about that is what prompted me. And I now still talk to my sister in spirit, and I'm like, I don't know why you went when you went so young at 25 years old, but you prompted my soul purpose. Like deep challenge becomes deep beauty and deep contribution. And so when we look at our challenges and things that you think, if you'd told me back then, I probably would have punched you in the face when it happened, because I was too deep in pain. But as time went on, I started to see that the worst things that had happened in my life, or the worst things that were happening to my loved ones, ended up prompting me to look at life differently, right? And so when you face your challenges, or you see your loved ones face challenges, you're going to start asking questions like this. What the heck is life about? Well, isn't that convenient? Because that question is going to lead you straight into discovering answers to those existential questions, which is where you will find meaning and purpose and depth in your life.
Mm-hmm. It speaks directly to what Paola is asking here. It's the same thing. I'm making progress, and then this pandemic came and I felt trapped again. And what I've seen with this pandemic, with this whole thing that's happening, it's a massive catharsis for humanity to purge the fear-based consciousness, to release the ways we are running from fear as our lifestyle and begin to choose to live from love. So it's great that we have come in that path to where we've come. And then life's like, all right, let's accelerate this and get the rest of it done, because there's still ways we've got maybe little bits of fear or separation, lack consciousness. And it's like, no, we're going to bump out of this. What do we need to do? Okay, let's have this happen. See how this rolls out. And we see what's rolling out, which is a lot of the separation consciousness. Even the people who are like, I'm awakening, are going, and they're doing it wrong and we should kill them. Like, that's not exactly it either. What is unity consciousness? It's about like, how do we begin to see the divine in each other? And instead of choosing from fear, we choose from purpose, from love, from clarity, from authenticity, from guidance. And that's when we begin to create something completely different. So you're right on time, Paola. Right.
And to that end as well, with Paola, when she's asking that question, for what it's worth and if it's helpful in any way, for people that felt like they were making progress before the pandemic, and now I'm in lockdown and everything seems to have stalled. We live in a culture that is so like, got to make stuff happen, got to make progress, got to get results, got to be productive. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I can't, there's no time to lose. I can't stop. What this whole situation is really asking of us is we need to soften a little bit and imagine if you are making progress, you were making progress, and you still are making progress, but it's not necessarily in the hardened way that our minds want to fixate upon it. And to really like soften and allow yourself to say, okay, I don't control life. I only control myself and my own choices of how I interact with what shows up in my life. So if you are in a situation you can't control, where you've got isolation, you can't get out and about, you feel like you can't make progress, you look at life and you say, okay, this is what's showing up. This is what is. Just like Kim says about accepting and allowing the feeling, accept and allow the life situation you're in. Good luck fighting it, because that ain't going to work. You'll get very sore fists and head from bumping against the brick wall. So stand back and say, who can I be and what can I do within life as it's showing up for me in this moment? Where can I feel empowered? In what ways can I be present in my daily life and do things or be ways that will work for me within the context of this? Knowing that life that created you, life that beats your heart, that breathes life through your body, you are not beating your heart, you are not breathing the life force into your body. Something else is. So whether you're spiritual or not, whatever you call that, well, that is also moving life in this whole global situation. It's all connected. You are connected to every other person, to life force itself. It is beating your heart and breathing through you, and yet it's also doing this thing out here that's going all crazy. So just trust for a little minute that it might know better. It works all these amazing cells in your body. It might know better than what with our little minds. But I've got a timeline, but I've got deadlines, but I've got to do this. No, just hold up a little bit and be like, okay, well, I have to trust in something bigger than me because I've got no other option, because I can't fight it. And so it's really softening a little bit away from that. I've got to make progress, because I don't know about you, Kim, but I did that whole mindset in the past, and it's like so stressful and it's so illness inducing.
Yeah. Well, and I did it too, but I needed to do it because of the clarity it brought me and the certainty it brought me. And I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I am clear that I'm done. I'm ready to choose what I know. And when you get that level of clarity, you never look back. So it's a value. So work yourself out as long as you need to. Oh, thank you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Paola said it's so helpful what you're saying. All right, everyone, thank you for tuning in. Bernadette Logue is at the Daily Positive is it .com?
.com. Yep.
.com, thedailypositive.com. I think she has a lot of really pure value and wisdom, and it's easy to receive from her. So I really love her work. And then the workshop that she's doing is a free workshop for finding your soul purpose, workshopping with it, connecting with it, just doing some really integrative exercises. So I think it'll be an awesome New Year's gift for you to give yourself. And I have included the link here so that you can join. Do you have a last piece you want to leave people with, or something I left out?
The only thing I would just say is just breathe and relax. You're right where you need to be. You're right where you need to be. I truly believe your purpose will never leave you. It won't disappear. It's right there with you. It's who you are. Wherever you're at right now, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your life. There's nothing wrong with your challenges. Don't let anybody tell you that. Follow Kim's advice, breathe in, allow from a space of allowing. It's amazing the clarity that comes up. We can't hear our intuition if we're in resistance and hating upon ourselves or hating upon our challenges. I know it's not easy, but Kim and I have both been there. And if you don't trust yourself, lean on some trust in us, because we know what we're talking about from all the years.
That's the thing. I think that's why your work is so valuable, is that you're an embodiment of it. Because there's a lot of people who touch into this idea. Oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And they get it from here up, but it's not really been embodied. So they haven't like transmuted the stuff in the way. So then it's not as much a transmission of consciousness as, when you're sharing something. And this is what I'm, showing people are like, thank you. This is beautiful. There is a reason people feel that, is because there's so much power that comes through your words when you're the embodiment of this stuff that we're saying, versus like just reading the book or, hearing information about it, but it's not coming from someone who is the embodiment of it. So I think that's why there's so much power in what you're doing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I always love to hang out with you and everyone here. It's been so much fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, lots of love to you. Lots of love to everyone. I'll be here every week at 11 a.m. Mountain. I'm at drkimd.com if you want to tune into what I'm doing. We are in the MindBody community in Facebook or on my page in YouTube, so you can tune in there. And Bernadette, you can subscribe to her work at thedailypositive.com and register for the free workshop at the link that we have shared here. Awesome. So much love to you all around the world. Thanks for being here.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.